This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 580.
I program my own computer.
We have a server crash, 404 error, page not found, links aren't working, system is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster. We have the technology. The technology.
Hello, everybody. This is Adam Silvey, host of the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. We have one event. It is not next weekend. It's actually this Wednesday, April 9th. It is Jornada de Disseny, WordPress Lleida 2025. It's on April 9th, like I said, and that is translates to WordPress Web Design Day. It is at the Campont campus, University of Lleida in Spain. So there you go. And I had to kind of translate all that. The site is cool looking, but it did not have the auto-translate from Spanish to English. So if you're in that part of the world, you should attend. All right, moving on, segment one in the news. Two things to talk about here. First and foremost, WordPress 6.8 RC2, release candidate 2 has been released. It's now ready for downloading and testing. Of course, do not use this on a live production server. Use it on a test server and go through all that. You can do that through the WordPress beta tester plugin. You can do a direct download, a CLI, a couple different ways to do it, obviously. So check that out. And we're still on track for that, I believe, coming out on the 16th, if I'm not mistaken. Did I say that a few weeks ago? April 15th, the 15th. That's right. All right. And that's that. Moving on. The other piece of the news is that Automattic has announced some layoffs, about 16% of the company. Matt put a message out over on the automattic.com website under the news area. So they're doing, there's been layoffs. It's unfortunate. So I'm so sorry for those who had that message get to them last week. And yeah, that's unfortunate. So apparently there's some reorg there. All right. Moving on, segment 2, the meat potatoes of this week's episode. So in the past 3 to 4 weeks, I have happened to hear the term vibe coding, and I use air quotes, vibe coding, in a few other podcasts that I listen to. And then, of course, because our devices listened and talked to each other, I was then fed some videos about vibe coding over on YouTube, because that's a thing. And I went down the rabbit hole of vibe coding, and I listened to the podcast, and it was over on Syntax FM, maybe. I think that's where I heard it first. And anyway, as it turns out, it's a thing, and it's growing really quickly, and it's been around for longer than I thought, but in case you are not aware of what it is, I want to talk about that today. So let's start off with a definition. What is vibe coding? Well, per some Googling, I found 2 definitions, a long one and a short one. The long one is this. At its core, vibe coding is a fun, intuitive, and often AI-assisted way of building software. The acronym stands for Visual, Intuitive, Back-End, Agnostic, and Expressive, which basically means you're coding in a way that feels more like designing and less like wrestling with a terminal. It's about working fast, testing ideas, using tools like AI copilots and visual builders to help bring your ideas to life. So apparently it's like a no-pressure version of an app development, more vibe, less stress. Okay. The short version is vibe coding is a modern creative approach to building apps, often with the help of AI that feels more like designing than traditional coding. So now that we have a definition of what vibe coding is, I wanted to share things I found, some insights about it and how it may, work into our life as WordPress developers, designers, agency owners, etc. Why, first and foremost, should WordPress agencies care? Well, because a lot of times we should care because the fact that a lot of clients want more than just a website these days. They want dashboards, automation, maybe a booking tool. And whereas WordPress is great, but it wasn't originally built to do all the things, and a more experience moves into app-like interfaces, it's worth exploring how we, as agency owners, can evolve along with that. So, and of course, that leads me to the conversation or the topic here, the highlight of the business case. Should WordPress agency owners expand into web apps? Should we do this? Should I do this? Should you do this? So, the risk of being, quote, just a WordPress developer in 2025, is it enough? Well, let's be real about this, okay, people? WordPress world is not going anywhere. There have been changes, obviously, and the industry changes very quickly. But if you just only do WordPress builds only, you might get boxed in as just the website person. Okay, and that's fine for many people. It really is. I mean, I get it. A lot of people make a good amount of money out there, and that's fantastic. Exploring web apps doesn't mean ditching WordPress. It just means staying relevant as client needs grow more complex. Because we know things become easier and easier, and things sometimes become cheaper and cheaper. So with that, I went down the path of what tools are there to mess with and learn this stuff. And there are a handful. There's actually more than a handful. There are so many, but some stand out. So one of the first ones I want to talk about real quick is called Replit. It's kind of like a playground for code, super friendly, cloud-based, and you can test it out. You can test out Python, JavaScript, even AI stuff. And Replit's been around for a long time, and they added the AI coding, which really made things different. Cursor is another one. It's like kind of having a super smart dev buddy next to you. And I know this, not that I'm a developer, but I've watched a lot of videos in the last 3 weeks, and it's fascinating to me how these things work. And of course, there are issues here with using LLMs and paying for credits and having cycles and all the terminology that goes in with it. So some of these services charge you anywhere from 20 cents a question down to 4 cents a question. And you have to buy credits, and it's interesting. The other one with Cursor, you can also take, if it's Cursor? No, there's this way, yeah. VO by Vercel. It's pretty wild because you can drop a Figma design and then it gives you the code. It's either magical or terrifying, depending on how you look at it, but it's pretty impressive how it works. So moving on to how these compare to WordPress development. What's the main differences here? Well, with Replit and Cursor, you're stepping into an actual app development. You're building things from the ground up, not just assembling plugins. VO by Vercel is kind of like if Gutenberg and Figma had a baby and it went to React school. It's kind of a weird way to say it, but it's true. And I had to kind of Google that myself, trying to figure out what's the best way to explain it. So these tools do open doors to a faster prototyping, especially when you're trying to build something that doesn't quite fit into the WordPress plugin mold. And I know this because I've been working on some ideas for multiple years now that just aren't gelling in a, quote, easy fashion. And this new methodology that I'm kind of testing out seems to be working a lot better. I'm just not sure how I will move forward with it because of the potential need of code base and knowledge for maintaining it in the future. I'm working on that as well. Anyway, now moving into the opportunities in web app development for us. Now, imagine offering your clients the custom CRM, the dashboard that integrates with their shipping tool, even a micro SaaS product tailored to their niche specifically. And it's not just BS. It's not just theoretical BS. It's what agencies are doing now to stand out. Because automating parts of the business with even a little bit of custom code, we're thinking Zapier on steroids, can be and will be the game changer. Okay. All right. So let's assume when you're with me and you're thinking, great, do I need new skills? Well, not necessarily. The skills you have from WordPress are good, if not perfect, because HTML, CSS, still your bread and butter. PHP gives you a leg up if you move into backend scripting. And if you played anything with JavaScript or Gutenberg blocks or themes, guess what? That's the core language of most web apps. So you're not starting from scratch, which is awesome. Moving into the next level, this phase 2, let's say, getting started, what would be your next step as a curious web agency owner or a web developer? First and foremost, test drive the tool. Don't overthink it. Go get a copy of Replit, spin up a JavaScript project, mess around, or try Cursor to see how it might help you refactor your sloppy code. No judgment. We've all been there. I'm the worst possible coder. I copy paste. I ask questions. I go to Stack Overflow. You don't need to build the next, Airbnb. Just go with something small just to see if it works. Follow a tutorial, another step you can take here. Like I said, I've watched so many videos lately, a lot of things out there. You can try building a simple lead capture form or to-do list. I'm looking at one for the running for a little app for myself for calculating paces. Just something easy but useful for yourself, okay? Just to see how things fit together, not get overwhelmed. You can also join a community. There are plenty of communities out there outside the WordPress bubble. And it sounds crazy, but maybe it's good to open the door a little bit. Pop into the Discord for Vercel. Check out a Replit forum. You'll find developers all levels sharing projects. Communities are amazing, just like the WordPress community, amazing. So go ahead and use that energy to kind of geek out and see where you go with it from there. And lastly, maybe, just maybe, have fun with using some integrations. Maybe if you have the knowledge base already, build a custom dashboard with integrations that might pull data from your WP site's REST API into a little web app. Now, I say those words, I know the concept, but honestly, I don't know where to start with that. I normally wouldn't know where to start with that. Let me fix that. Now I know I could start with it like in Replit or in Cursor and ask the question, a conversational piece, going back and forth and say, I want to do these things in normal English. It might cost me the 20 cents, but at least it'll start doing it for me. And it'll present me more questions if it has questions for me, it being the LLM or the service, or it'll just build it. And then you can look at how it looks, and then you can iterate from that. So it's a really quick iteration process as well. It's pretty interesting. So who should seriously explore this? Well, if you're the kind of agency owner who's curious, always learning, wants to offer more than just brochure sites, this is for you. If your clients are already asking for custom tools, of course, this is also for you versus just duct taping together with different plugins. Am I saying abandon WordPress? Not at all. I'm just saying expand the skill set. WordPress is still an amazing foundation as far as the platform we use, but it's just expand the toolkit, not jump ship. Think of it like cross-training for your development brain. You're building strength in other areas, makes you more adaptable and valuable, and that you can then make more money to help provide for the life you want to live. Okay, kind of getting off on a tangent there, but nonetheless, it's fascinating. It's vibe coding. Check it out. Leads me to segment 3 tip until the week, which is this week's going to be replit.com. Just go check out Replit. Pretty neat stuff. And yeah, link in the show notes on that one. If you've already tried this, if you're going down this path of web apps or these type of services, let me know. Love to talk to you about it. I've just been engrossed with it for the last literally 3 weeks. It's been kind of crazy. All right, that's it for this week. If you have any questions, go ahead, send it in via email, adam@KitchensinkWP.com, or use that speak pipe function on the website. If you want to support the show, you can do that by a few different ways. Become a Patreon, buy me a coffee, sponsor the show, fill out the form, etc., etc. Thanks for listening. See you next week. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. All right, bye-bye.